Yes. Good morning, one and all. Fulham have won a game of football. Good morning. Welcome to the quick take. Everton 1, Fulham 3. And I'm guessing for a lot of those fans yesterday, I can't actually remember the year in which we last won at Goodison with fans, but is it ever? I don't know. We won yesterday for the second time in a row at Goodison Park after the lockdown win with Josh Madger scoring, I think, a couple goals in that season. But look, what a day yesterday was up in Liverpool. It was fantastic. Welcome along to the quick take. Get your comments in below and we'll have a nice discussion about Fulham winning their first game in, well, since Leeds at home in the FA Cup, of course, our next opponents. Defeats to Brentford, Arsenal, Manchester United, Bournemouth, West Ham followed. And this was a very, very nice day out in Merseyside. Let's just run through the game. And of course, when the lineups came out, particularly for Everton, it was a change of system. They went from a 4-4-2 from their usual 4-1-4-1 sort of formation. Of course, Abdoulaye Doucouré still suspended, meant that Idrissa Gana Gueye played alongside James Garner in midfield. They had Iwobi on one side, McNeil, the goal scorer, on the other, and then up front, Gray and Mopé. And then I think there was a time where Gray got asked to play out on the left, and he wasn't too happy with that. But anyway, let's run through the game. Let's run through the game here in this summary that I've got up here. Well, I think Fulham started pretty decently on the ball. We were pretty good with our tempo, pretty good with keeping the ball in tight situations and playing nice, neat little triangles. And the goal came from Harrison Reed. There was that early chance with Harry Wilson where the ball fell to him and he just got the shot just under his foot. And it was comfortable for Pickford. However, this one was different. Harry Wilson cutting in, hitting the post. Pereira then tried to get the ball. He couldn't quite get it under his spell. It fell to Harrison Reed, who scores his third goal of the season. One at Forest, one against Aston Villa at home, and now one away at Goodison Park. And Fulham looked pretty settled. And we'll get into Everton's performance a bit later after the summary because there's a lot to say on it. Dwight McNeil gets the equaliser. This is, quite frustrating goal to concede, given that Paulinho lost the ball when he kind of had a chance to play it wide or get the ball away from the final third. And McNeil basically picked up the ball, drove forward. Everyone just backing off him. Ream Tosin backing off him. And the shot was a really nice arrowed shot into the bottom corner. Good goal, 1-1. And we went into half-time, 1-1. I thought the game wasn't brilliant, but Fulham have shown some okay signs. I thought we were more than competent. And of course, let's go back to the lineup. My apologies. I talked about Everton. I'm not even Fulham's. We saw changes. We saw Harry Wilson play on the left, and James up front, Pereira, Willian, and the rest was pretty much routine. But that was good to see. I mean, we were talking on the Jack and Joe show about how we can have alternative options starting this game ahead of maybe the likes of Vinicius. Well, it just happened to be, and obviously Bobby D Cordova-Reid as well didn't play as well. It just happened to be Dan James. I thought Bobby Reid would take that number 9 or striking position, and it was Dan James, and we'll get onto him a little bit later. And yeah, I think the first half was good. It was a pretty even contest. And in fact, Everton came out looking the strongest in the early stages of the second half. Literally the first few seconds, I think they won a corner and were looking pretty threatening. And this is where the game sort of changed. Fulham managed to get a breakaway. Tete got the ball in. It fell to Willian. He then laid it off to Wilson. Nice finish. And it's quite bizarre being in that away end. I was sort of like, this game shouldn't really be at the stage it is. I don't think Goodison Park, I was saying to my brother yesterday in the ground, when you're winning at Goodison Park, it feels illegal. It feels like you're not allowed to be winning at Goodison Park. There's just something about it. And this is what I sort of wanted to come on to about the Everton fans. Let's just get through the game first. So 2-1 Fulham, good finish by Wilson. First of the season. First of the season for Harry Wilson. I thought he was phenomenal and really, really, really sort of brought back to life that sort of performance that we've seen from him last season, the Championship, where he was really, really good and hasn't really had the rub of the green this season because of his injury issues. But I was delighted for him. I was even more delighted for Dan James to make it 3-1 after the nonsense that people were saying about him early in the season. He gets on the score sheet with this ridiculous goal. Long ball from Tete with the free kick. James then gets a touch. It comes off Keane. It falls quite nicely for James, who pokes it beyond Pickford. Really nice moment for him. There's a player in there in Dan James. And I thought he was brilliant. Really good. And as a number 9 option with that pace to get in behind, because obviously, Tarkowski, Keane, you're not going to lump it long, and because they'll be heading those balls away all day. So little tweak of the system, and it worked. Marco Silva heads back to Goodison Park, not on the touchline. Boa Morte was there yet again, but with a win. I mean, and he comes away with a win. And I know this is this is Fulhamish, but I would like to speak about Everton for quite a while here, because Everton are down there. They're in trouble. They're in a relegation battle. Yet yesterday was bizarre. It felt like, even at 1-1, for 2 minutes in the second half, it felt like we were under siege, under pressure from a team who needed to stay up. However, when we went 2-1 up and then 3-1 up, I was thinking, it felt like, I said to Luke, my brother, right at the end of the game, like in the added time, I said, this feels like the last day of the season when no one has to play for anything. It was just the lack of intensity from Everton. I didn't hear much urgency from the crowd. Obviously, it's quite hard when you're in an away end and you're surrounded by Fulham fans. But in terms of the home fans, I didn't hear anything from Everton. There was no urgency. There was a couple of times in the first half they would get frustrated when they were losing the ball, and a lot of the fans were standing up and berating, and it was really odd. And Everton stood off us and let us have a lot of the ball. And I've just talked about the goals, but we had numerous opportunities in that second half. Dan James flashed the ball across the box. It almost went in. Pereira hit one over. Leno made a couple of very, very good saves as well in the first half and the second half, we must mention. It was a game that had quite a lot in it, but I was just really surprised with Everton. I mean, that, on paper, Fulham at home, a Fulham team who'd lost 4 games in a row, it's a must win. And it didn't feel intense. It didn't feel like I was in a game where you would expect some sort of atmosphere and a bit of bite to it. It was weird. It was very, very strange. And, for Everton, that's a very, very damaging defeat. If we just look at the table now, obviously Leeds play later against, Leeds play tomorrow. Forest play later against Manchester United. Everton now sit on the same points as Nottingham Forest, who have a game in hand over them with 7 games to go for Everton. As for Fulham, 10th, 42 points. We've done it. We've hit 40. We've hit 42 now. Chelsea lost again to Brighton, who, by the way, were absolutely magnificent. Brentford lost. QPR lost. It was a wonderful day. And yeah, I'm just really happy. I'm really happy that we've won a game. And, there's a lot of doom and gloom about the fan base. I was talking to a few fans before the game, just thinking, you know what? I understand the negativity, everything that's happened this week, and, the results haven't been good. But, ultimately, we're going to be fine. We just need a win to sort of lift morale, and that's exactly what we did. Let's get into some comments before we sign off. So, how bad is it that we are sad we missed Dan James next game? Yeah, because he's obviously on loan from Leeds. Look, no Dan James next week means we're going to have to come up with another alternative as to how to attack Leeds, a Leeds team who will play Monday night, and they'll be well up for the early kickoff as well. They were very good value in their defeat to us in the FA Cup. And when we go to our next game after Leeds, which is, I can't even remember now, we'll have Dan James back, Aston Villa away, of course. We'll have Dan James back, and he could be that option to take us into the end of the season, or at least until Mitrovic is back. So yeah, really pleased with Dan James, and it's a bit difficult. It's a bit frustrating for him that he gets his good performance and then it's going to stifle his momentum because he can't play the next game. But Alas, we have other options. The players looked like they were allowed to express themselves more today or yesterday. Well, that was what it seemed like to me. You're right. And Everton didn't really lay a glove on us after we went 2-1 up. They had their shot with Garner, which went wide. They had the shot with Iwobi that was saved by Leno. But it all just felt a bit passive. And they brought on Ellis Sims, and I thought, but Mopé was, well, of course, that big chance at 1-1 as well. That could have been where the game changed. Big save by Leno, where Mopé gets in and doesn't quite get the shot he wants away. Leno makes a really good save, and Ream clears. But yeah, Mopé was rubbish, and honestly, I just could not believe what I was seeing from Everton. I guess Manos Solomon didn't get on the pitch yesterday, which was quite refreshing. We're not relying on these sort of players to get us out of jail, and we were quite comfortable throughout. We brought in TC and Lukic and players like that, and that was quite nice. And I thought Willian yesterday was really, really good as well. It's really nice to see him up close on that right-hand side, especially in that, left-hand side in the second half. He was really, really silky. Manos Solomon could come in for Dan James next week, and we could potentially play Bobby D. Cordova-Reid up front. Could Solomon play up front? Maybe. He's got that blistering pace and getting behind. I think we underestimate the importance of Leno. Everton didn't have many chances, but with a lesser keeper. Different result. Yeah. Possibly signing of the season for us. Yeah, I think we'll look back on this season, look at the point tally we end up on and say, look, Leno saved us here. He saved us there. He got us 3 here. He got us 1 point there. And I don't think he necessarily won us the game yesterday in terms of his saves, but he certainly made some important ones at some important times, of which he's done all season. Really, really pleased. And I thought Tosin, brilliant. I mean, when he came in for Diop, I thought, why has Diop been dropped? I was enjoying that Diop-Ream partnership. I'm really enjoying the Tosin-Ream partnership at the moment. It's really great to see. Kenny Tete, again, brilliant. Robinson was a good outlet on the left. Crossing was not great, but it's an option. Harrison Reed, great goal. Made up for his own goal last week as well. Really pleased for him. Good performance. Paulinho, not his best performance, but it didn't really need to be in the end. I thought there were other shining stars on the pitch. Willian, great. Pereira improved very much so. I enjoyed watching Andres Pereira yesterday. I thought he actually worked really, really hard and was really pleased with him. Harry Wilson, like I said, brilliant. And Dan James, brilliant. So I don't have much I've got nothing to complain about. What it means, Fulham will be safe. We're on 42. That's fine. That whole silly narrative of no, we can't. And we won't. So let's start planning for next season. Obviously, we've got games to go. We want to finish as high as possible. There's even a chance we could, obviously we got Leeds who are in a relegation battle. Then we go to a Villa team who are on scintillating form and look phenomenal. I'm very looking forward to that game. That'd be fantastic. Ollie Watkins, just unbelievable at the moment. And there's a chance that we're on 42 now. We'll probably should maybe hit 50 points at some point this season. I think that's a really good return. And 6 away wins this season for Fulham, which is a record. I mean, we've gone to places like, Forest, Leeds, Palace, Leicester, Everton. Oh my God, help me out, someone with another away win, because there's obviously that's 5 I've rattled off. I can't quite remember at this current moment in time, but some really good away wins this season. Some really good ones, and like unexpected ones. Like I didn't expect us to go to Leeds and win. Didn't expect us to go to Everton and win. Didn't expect us to go to Leicester and win. It's been a bizarre, strange season where Leicester right now, they lost again yesterday. They're banging trouble. Brighton, thank you. Brighton, we won Brighton away. Of course, a smash and grab with Manuel Solomon. Final word on this one. It was really nice to do the Stanley Park walk. We arrived at Everton at about 1 p.m. We did the walk across Stanley Park to Anfield, where the away pub was. The Arkles, great pub. It was a Green King, but a nice pub. They had a chip shop next to it, which did chips with any sort of topping you wanted, gravy. I went for gravy and mushy peas, and I thought it was absolutely delicious. And it was really nice just to have those chips and walk across back to Goodison from Anfield. It really is a short walk, 10 minutes either side of the park. And yeah, yesterday was good. It was good vibes, and I enjoyed it. It was, the sun was shining, results went our way. Everyone had a laugh, and There wasn't too much pressure on the game. No one came into saying, "Oh, we have to win," but we did. So I'm very, very pleased. I'm pleased for the Fulham fans as well, because it's been a bit of a rotten couple of weeks, and we go into a game at Craven Cottage on Saturday, and if we get another win, yeah, I think people will start looking and go, "Oh, you know what, Fulham have had a brilliant season. We've had a brilliant season. Brilliant." And that'll be that for today. We've got a fantastic Super Sunday coming up. West Ham United versus Arsenal. Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. Tomorrow night, Leeds versus Liverpool. Fulham have won by 3-1 against an Everton team who, well, you fear for them. You do fear for them, especially with their fixtures they've got. Big win for Bournemouth as well. We can get into it on the Jack and Joe show. We'll be back on Wednesday to discuss more from Everton, some of Leeds as well, preview, and maybe some of the weekend's results as well. But yeah, when we go to Anfield next season in May, that chip shop is going. We'll be visiting again. It was phenomenal, brilliant, and good value as well. Last few comments. Fulham done the double over Brighton. Not many teams would say that. Yes, and Brighton did the double over Chelsea. And given the narrative that they took Potter from them, and then they wanted De Zerbi apparently, but Brighton were amazing yesterday. Really, really good performance. From never winning at Goodison Park for God knows how long to now winning 2 in a row. Come on, you Whites. And this is the sort of feel-good factor, the nice comments you want to see on these sort of videos. Really enjoyed this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday for a Jack and Joe show. It's Fulham who win at Goodison Park for the first time with fans in forever. You Whites will see you against Leeds on Saturday.